an advocate for equal opportunities for people with disabilities and the first deaf-blind person to graduate from Harvard Law School. President Obama named Haben a White House champion of change. She has also been recognized for her work by Forbes in the 30 Under 30 list. Haben travels the world consulting and public speaking, teaching clients the benefits of fully accessible products and services. Our presentation today is on disability and innovation, the benefits of universal design. Please join me in welcoming Haben.
Testing. Does that sound good? Excellent, excellent. My name is Haben Girma. It's exciting to be here with everyone. As some of you probably know, I'm deaf-blind. I have a disability. And when somebody has a disability, it's important to be thoughtful and find ways to access information. So all my life, I've been looking for ways to access information. I have a device up here called a braille display, and on the bottom are braille dots. I run my fingers over the dots to feel the letters, and I have an interpreter who's typing on a wireless keyboard that's connected to the braille display. And that's one way of gaining access to information. So the interpreter types audience descriptions. People engaged, people looking down on their phones. So he's watching you. Right now he just typed laughter. So there's lots of different ways to access information. And if we're thoughtful and creative, we can design solutions that help lots of different people. Technology is a powerful tool, and it'll help people when designers are thoughtful and think about different communities to assist. I have a background in law. I went to Harvard Law School and learned advocacy skills to help people with disabilities. My goal is to create a world where everyone has access, including people with disabilities. First slide. Excellent. So we have a photo from graduation at Harvard Law School. Dean Minnow is handing me the diploma, and Dean Minnow and I are both wearing academic regalia, and my guide dog Maxine is wearing a fancy fur coat. What I just did is called an image description, and image descriptions help blind people access images. So when we produce stories and add image descriptions, more people gain access to that information in the image. It also supports search engine optimization. When you have more text associated with your image, more people will find your work, so you reach a larger audience. These are some of the things that we can do to help make our technologies more accessible, such as image descriptions. A little history about Harvard. For a long time, Harvard did not admit people with disabilities. In fact, there was a time that Harvard didn't even admit women. Helen Keller is a famous deaf-blind woman, and when she was looking for colleges to attend, Harvard wouldn't admit her. Helen Keller lived from 1880 to 1968, and at her time, Harvard would not allow women to study at the university. Women are smart and brilliant. People with disabilities are smart and brilliant. So it wasn't disability or gender that was holding Helen Keller back. It was the community at Harvard choosing to be exclusive, choosing to exclude a population of people. And over time, Harvard has learned that diversity actually adds value. And now, Harvard has opened its doors to women, people of color, and people with disabilities. Access is a choice. Disability is never the barrier. The barrier is communities choosing to exclude certain people based on disability, based on race, based on gender. And if we choose to be inclusive, more people gain access. Next slide. We have a photo that symbolizes inclusion. President Obama is standing at a table typing on a printed keyboard. I'm on the other side of the table reading on a digital braille display. President Obama usually communicates by voice. When I met him, we explained that I'm deafblind and I access information best through touch, through braille. He graciously switched from voicing to typing so that I can access his stories, his information, and we can have a conversation. Access is a choice. It's up to all of us to choose to be inclusive. And when we choose inclusion, we role model that for others. Others in our community see that, then they'll follow our lead in being inclusive. Inclusion takes many different forms. Next slide. Another form of inclusion is sign language. Deaf people all over the world have developed innovative solutions to being deaf. If you can't hear speech, you can create visual speech. You can create a language that you can... The video is not playing. If the video were playing, you would see sign language. So a visual language with people communicating through their hands. And there are these languages all over the world. So every community has a different sign language. In America, it's called American Sign Language. In France, it's French Sign Language. Across the pond, the Brits have a completely different language that makes no sense to me. Alright, so none of the videos are going to work today. I'll just provide lots of descriptions so we get access to the same information. And this is an example of an alternative technique. If one thing doesn't work, we can try another solution. So sign language is a form of innovation. The disability community has been creating forms of innovation for hundreds of years. Often we're hidden figures. Oftentimes no one knows these stories. So when we bring these stories forward, we remind people that when we're creating solutions, disability can often spark new solutions that help lots of different people. I'll give examples. So sign language is one form of innovation. Another form of innovation, Vint Cerf, is one of the fathers of the internet. And before the internet existed as we know it today, he was looking for solutions that would help people who are deaf, hard of hearing. He's also hearing impaired. And he found that by sending electronic messages back and forth, that was one way to access information. And he developed one of the earliest email protocols. Through email, people can have conversations without straining to hear. Nowadays, lots of people use email. Lots of people benefit, the disability community and the non-disability community. And that's an example of how a disability solution can help lots of different people. Another example comes from further back in history. In Italy, In 1808, there were two friends, one sighted, one blind. And they wanted to be able to send each other letters. This was back before email, back before even Braille. And back then, if a blind person wanted to write a letter, they would have to dictate it, and the sighted person would write it down for them. These two friends couldn't do that. Their letters had to stay secret. They were love letters. So they decided to see this as a design challenge. How can we develop a solution for creating letters that also maintains the privacy of the letter? And they developed the first working typewriter. Through a typewriter, when you type, you're using touch. So it's a way to produce print that doesn't require sight. And nowadays, lots of people use keyboards. And some of the fastest typists are touch typists. These are some stories of how disability drives innovation. There are many more hidden stories. Africa has many, many stories. And if we could help gather these stories and share them with people, we could remind people to see disability not as a problem, but as an opportunity for new solutions. Next slide. 1 second. No problem, you can move to the next slide. Excellent. Excellent. Good. So there are lots of reasons to choose inclusion. One reason is you reach more people. There are 1.3 billion people with disabilities all over the world. It's a huge population. So when we choose inclusion, our technologies, our stories reach a larger audience, which means more consumers and more revenue, more business in the long run. In the United States, it's 57 million Americans with disabilities. Another reason is content discoverability. When we add image descriptions, more text is associated with our content, which helps with search engine optimization. Same thing when you add captions to videos, transcripts for videos. It helps the disability community, but it also helps you get your content out to a larger population, helping with content discoverability. Another reason, innovation. And now you have stories to share about how disability drives innovation. Those are all excellent reasons. If you're not first-aided, there's another reason, legal requirements. It's really much better to choose inclusion rather than dealing with litigation and lawsuits. The law requires that companies and places of public accommodation ensure access for people with disabilities. I actually worked on a case where we filed a lawsuit against the digital library. The library designed its website and apps in a way that blind people could not read those books. Text starts out with ones and zeros. You can convert that into any format: visual, audio, digital braille. It's really about choosing to be inclusive. So tech is not the problem. It's the designers being aware and choosing to be inclusive. And Script argued that they didn't have to. And we said, yes, you do. And it went to court, and in the court, the judge ruled that yes, online businesses are required under the Americans with Disabilities Act to make their services accessible. So that was an exciting and rewarding victory, and afterwards, Script and the National Federation of the Blind reached a settlement agreement to make services accessible so blind people can access more books. It's really much easier to choose inclusion and not have to deal with lawsuits. But if you need another reason, legal requirements is another reason. Next slide. Can people see the captions?
Yes.
Can the long distance live stream audience also read this?
No.
Okay, no problem. I'll explain. So this is a video demonstrating how screen readers work. Maybe Keynote can email a link to it later. So when I'm using my phone, I use VoiceOver. VoiceOver can speak out loud and send information to the phone display.
News. Checking the news. National Geographic. On red. World's largest elephant on land from Toronto Zoo.
I can play on the phone display using the news cover. If I want to extend the hand gestures on the iPhone, I can click right with one finger. To open an item, I can double tap anywhere on the screen.
Text size. Caption. Title. Title. World's largest title. After escaping from the High Park Zoo in Canada, two capitalist have eluded capture by Jason Hill. Published June 9. Most people do their best to avoid rodents of unusual size. But after a pair of capitalist escaped from the High Park Zoo in Canada, hi, I have the door sushi, pot of food, fish cake with soy.
My friend at the door, so I'm just gonna let her know.
Close. Button. Reply. Button. Messages notification. Head. In. There. Almost. Done. Good. This. Demo. Setting. Button.
VoiceOver has allowed me to access more information, news, email, and messages. And it's also a way for me to know when friends are at the door. Thanks for watching. Bye. So that's an example of video descriptions, and the app that you saw was a news app on the Apple iPhone. It's been designed so that blind people can use it, sighted people can use it. If one needs to listen to the news, they can listen to the news. So when you design things to be accessible, lots of different people can use the service. I'm not a fan of separate apps for people with disabilities. Separate is never equal. I prefer mainstream apps to incorporate inclusion. One device, one app that everyone can use. And when you design it to be accessible, it can do that. There are guidelines to teach how to do that. The Web Content Accessibility Guidelines for web developers. And for mobile, there's the Android and Apple Accessibility Guidelines. To teach your communities about these guidelines so everything can be inclusive. It also includes captions. It also includes support for assistive devices, such as braille displays, switch control. Switch control helps individuals with limited mobility. Those are some of the things that exist now. Keep innovating. Keep thinking about new ways to connect to people. Keep thinking about disability as an opportunity for new solutions. Thank you.
I've spent the whole day saying, hey, we have this 1 minute, but I just wanted to say, keep going, keep going. I think we will take a few questions, but Haben will also be at the dinner. So those of you who want to interact with me will be able to do it at the dinner. We'll just take your questions. Any question? Sure.
I guess when you were talking to President Obama, I noticed that he was using the keyboard to talk to you. We're working on open source speech recognition engine. It just seems slightly odd that there isn't sort of a solution already out there for that, so someone can talk to you and it can translate into braille. So is there a solution there, or could we help actually produce a solution?
Text-to-speech is really helpful for a lot of different reasons. Right now, it's not to the point where I could use it in all types of situations with digital braille, but I'm sure sometime in the future that would be an option. So as you work on solutions like that, also make sure there's support for assistive devices like braille displays, switch control, and other tools that people with disabilities use. But good question. Thank you for thinking about that.
Hi, this is Meg. So a lot of work recently in the deep learning community has focused on automatic methods for image captioning. The focus has largely been on literal and concrete objects and entities. There are a lot of other aspects of the world to capture, and I've spoken to a lot of people who are blind about what they'd like to see. I'm wondering what you think would be other kinds of ways to describe the world beyond what's captured in very literal and concrete items in a scene.
I'm a storyteller. I love stories. I'm actually writing a memoir full of stories from my life and all my adventures. So when people share images, my first thought is, what's the story here? What's the point of this image? If we could somehow get computers to learn those stories, that would be really, really helpful. It's complicated and tricky and requires an understanding of culture. So there are tools that exist right now, like Facebook and Apple have developed tools for creating automatic image descriptions where the machine tells you what it thinks is the point of the image. In addition to that, it's still helpful for people to write image descriptions because the author is more aware of the story and point to the image than the computer. But maybe one day computers could also tell us the story in an image.
Awesome, on it.
So, any other questions?
You mentioned your background in law, but also from like a technology standpoint, I feel like maybe sometimes people create these policies or create this technology for a community without consulting that community or engaging that community in the development of the product or of the regulation. So I guess how much participation do you feel I guess the community is having in terms of developing more accessible technologies and even policies? Do you feel like you guys are engaged enough in terms of coming up with solutions for those situations, or do you feel like it's not necessarily at the point where it should be right now?
We can always do more. So I would love to see more engagement between disability communities and tech companies and researchers. In fact, I would love to see more opportunities created within tech and universities for scientists with disabilities, engineers with disabilities, designers with disabilities. As someone who lives with a disability, I'm always thinking about innovative solutions. So this is an advantage when it comes to designing things for everyone as well. So it benefits all of us to have people with disabilities at these tech organizations. Help increase hiring of people with disabilities. Diversity benefits all of us. And I work as a consultant and travel around and speak with many different companies. This week I spoke with Oak. Next week I'm speaking with LinkedIn. So I try to help and advise these companies as much as possible. In addition, there are other organizations that help do this. In the Bay Area, there's the San Francisco Lighthouse for the Blind, with a long list of testers who can help test apps and new products to give feedback on how accessible it is. And there are other organizations that do similar things. So if you're interested, reach out with these organizations, National Federation of the Blind, National Association of the Deaf, and form partnerships to make sure you're getting all the feedback you can about accessibility.
So thank you. That will be the last question. Let's thank Haben again.